Here's an example of converting degree angles to radians. So for each of the following degree angles, find the radians. So how do you convert between the two worlds? So we have two worlds. We have angles in degrees. We have the degree system, and then we have the radian system. They're two worlds. They're like Celsius and Fahrenheit. Two different systems for measuring temperature. These are two different systems for measuring an angle. You know what I mean? Like if you have an angle and you want to say how big is that open? Like if this is a door and this is the hinge of the door and you've opened it a certain amount. What is that angle? How do you define how big an opening it is between two line segments? That's what an angle is, how big an opening between two line segments. So we have two different systems, the degree system and the radian system. And the bridge, the connection between the two worlds is the following. 180 degrees is equal to pi radians. That's the easiest connection to make. 180 degrees. So 180 degrees, that's halfway around, isn't it? If I, let me erase this, and if I drew a circle here, if I can do that, try to draw a unit circle. Right, let me try that a little better there. Okay, so little unit circle. So halfway around the circle, this is 0 degrees. Halfway around is 180, you probably know, right? 180 degrees. Well, that's, and this is 90 degrees, and this is 270. Well, that's also pi radians. So pi radians is the same as 180 degrees. So that's the connection we use. 180 degrees is the same as pi radians. So you don't need the circle. I maybe shouldn't even bother wasting your time drawing the circle. Let's do the problems. So this is all you need to know. 180 degrees is pi radians. So here we go. So negative 50 degrees. When we want it, it's in the degrees. We want to convert it to radians. How do you do it? Well, I don't know if you've learned how to convert units. You put this over 1, and you multiply by a fraction. So I put the negative 50 over 1 just to make it look like a fraction. It's still, this is still just negative 50, isn't it? It's just over 1, so it looks like a fraction. Because, why? Because I'm going to now multiply by another fraction. Think about what I want to happen. I want to leave the degree world and go into the radian world. So I want degrees to cancel. So, and it's these two that I'm going to use. This is the bridge between the two worlds. But how do you know which way? Sometimes you put the pi on the top, sometimes you put the 180, sometimes it's the other way. How do you know? Well, I learned in chemistry that you put down here what you want to cancel. And then the pi radians goes up here. Why? Because I want degrees to cancel. Units cancel just like numbers cross-cancel. So because you want the degrees to cross-cancel, because you want out of the degree system, and you want to end up in the radian system. Well, if you put the degrees below, then the degrees will cancel. They're gone, and you'll have radians. So what does that leave you? And then now just go straight across the top. So negative 50 pi over 1 times 180, 180. Let me bring that down a little more. There we go. So you just get that, and then you just reduce that fraction. You can divide top and bottom by 10, right? So we get negative 5 pi over 18 radians. That's it. That's our answer for that first one. Negative 5 pi over 18 radians. You don't have to write radians. It's automatically in radians when you don't put a degree symbol. Let's try the next one. So how about this one? So negative 330. What do? Again, you put the degrees down below and the radians on the top. That's the bridge between the two worlds. Put this over 1. Cross-cancel the degrees. Bye-bye degrees. We're out of the degree world. Now we've got negative 330 pi over 180, then just reduce that, divide top and bottom by 10. I think we're going to have a couple of reduction steps here. Minus 33 pi over 18. We can reduce that again, divided by 3. I could have just done 30 in the beginning, would have saved me time, but that's all right. Minus 11 pi over 6. Minus 11 pi over 6. And again, I don't need to write radians. There's no degree symbol, so it's automatically radians. Let's try minus 180. This is actually just minus pi. Boom, done, right? Because remember, 180 degrees is pi. And how about this one? This is just regular pi. And then the last one, 350, we'll have to do that one. 350 degrees, multiply. You can put degrees on the bottom, 180 degrees, pi radians on the top. The degrees cancel, it's over 1, and you're left with 350 pi over 180. Divide by 10, top and bottom. You get 35 pi over 18. There we go, 35 pi over 18. Now, the homework will also take decimals. You know, if you want to change these to decimals, but it will also take these answers. I tested it, so I'm just going to leave these answers. I'm not going to mess around with any decimals. But both are true and good. You could put in pi. You know, pi. You have a pi button on your calculator. 3.14159. Blah 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 blah. You can do that if you want, but why bother? It'll take these radian answers just like that. So the connection between the degree world and the radian world, those two different systems of measuring an angle opening, 180 degrees, halfway around a circle, is pi radians, also halfway around a circle. That's the connection. You just multiply by pi over 180 so the degrees cancel, and then you're in the radian world.